Diablo Immortal features one of the worst, most greedy monetization systems that I've seen in a game, and it's no surprise coming from Blizzard. A lot of people have fallen out of love with Blizzard due to their greedy microtransactions, company culture, and rushed games and expansions, but we all knew that Immortal was going to be a giant cash grab. When they announced it would only be on mobile devices and they had zero plans of bringing it to PC, we all knew to not have high expectations for it, and they did change their minds, putting it on PC, hoping to draw their usual player base into the game, but unfortunately for them, this game is being raked across the coals for its microtransactions, and it's now the lowest rated Blizzard game on Metacritic. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, or support the channel via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So starting with this Game Rant article, it says Diablo Immortal is being review bombed. Blizzard's recently released Diablo mobile game, Diablo Immortal, is being review bombed and now has one of the lowest user scores ever. And honestly, it deserves to get review bombed because they thought that they could get away with these microtransactions. They thought that it would be okay that it casually costs over $110,000 to fully upgrade your character. And we're just talking about one character here. I mean, you can have like 6 per server or 7 per server. Never mind if you wanted to try out other classes. It says Diablo Immortal has had it rough from the start. The game was mired in controversy since its first reveal, with fans accusing Diablo Immortal of being an out-of-season April Fool's joke, and now that it's finally released, it is more of an April Fool's joke than if it was just on mobile. They did decide to put it on PC. A lot of people were very happy with that. A lot of people thought, wow, Blizzard's actually listening to fans. But unfortunately, while we did get one thing that was positive with Immortal, we got a bunch others that were extremely negative, like the microtransactions. It says over time, public perception of Diablo Immortal seemed to shift a bit in the other direction, especially after Blizzard confirmed another main series Diablo game was also on the way in the form of Diablo 4. But now that Immortal has officially launched on mobile devices and PC, the game is being ripped apart by fans who are upset about its egregious microtransactions. Now, I've talked a lot here on the channel about companies and microtransactions, and I understand companies need to make money. I'm not sitting here saying, companies are just too greedy. They shouldn't expect any money from consumers. I understand that at the end of the day, if they don't make money, they do not continue to make games. But there are fair ways to charge people. So if you want to have this free-to-play model, maybe you could do what MMOs do, where yes, you have something like a battle pass or a subscription that give you extra benefits. That to me is okay as long as the battle pass or the subscription just have items that are cosmetic that don't affect the game, or maybe you have things like experience boosts. I know that some people think experience boosts are pay to win, some people don't. There are ways though to get money out of people that are not disgusting ways like this, where it costs over $110,000 to fully upgrade gear. There are so many different forms of monetization out there. I know that at this point, a lot of people wish that games would go back to what they previously were, where you bought a game for $60 and then you had 1 or 2 rounds of DLC that cost $20 each, and people used to hate that monetization scheme and system. They thought that, I just wish that I could get the content for free and then choose to pay for what I want. But of course, companies pushed the lines with that. Companies, unfortunately, always push the boundaries with consumers. And with Diablo Immortal, it's like they're testing the waters to see just how much consumers are willing to put up with. Because when it comes to Diablo, I love Diablo. I'm sure a lot of you love Diablo. Diablo is an amazing franchise. There are amazing Diablo games And of course, Blizzard knows that we love Diablo, so they're willing to push the boundaries with monetization systems like this to see just how far they can go. It says the consensus seems to be that Diablo Immortal is fairly fun to play and runs pretty well, but the game's microtransactions, especially as they pertain to endgame leveling and PvP content, have not been well received to say the least. I did decide to live stream Diablo Immortal twice on the channel, free to play completely. I wanted to give it a fair shot just so I could judge the game itself, and yeah, I think that at its core, if you just are judging the gameplay itself, it's fairly entertaining. I do still see some problems with it. It is a bit of a dumbed down Diablo experience. Of course, it's supposed to be a mobile game. It's a free-to-play game, so I understand that. It's not terrible, though. Like, if its microtransactions were not this bad, I could see a lot of people playing it and enjoying it, myself included. I would probably be excited to at least get to endgame and check out the endgame. But unfortunately, when a game has such bad microtransactions like this, it ruins any sort of enjoyment I'm having with it. It says Diablo Immortal's microtransactions have resulted in an intense backlash from the community. Users are in the midst of review bombing Diablo Immortal on Metacritic, lowering its user score on the review aggregate platform to one of the lowest possible, and heading on over to Metacritic. Right now, it is sitting at a 0.5 user score based on almost 3,000 ratings. There's 107 positives, 17 mixed, and 2,729 negative. It is now the lowest rated Blizzard game and one of the lowest rated games on the platform. The level of greed that Blizzard and Activision has put in this game is beyond the loot box controversy that EA's Battlefront 2 had. That is why it gets a 0 from me. Scummy loot box microtransaction nonsense. When will they stop? It's sickening, and that's the problem, is that they aren't going to stop. They see that there are people who will still spend this type of money on their game, and even though those users are few and far between, it doesn't matter because they only need a couple. Let's be honest. I mean, people that spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on games, yeah, they only need a couple of those types of people to pay for their game, and then they just look at average players to spend $20 or $30 or maybe buy the battle pass every time it comes out, and usually those reset once a month or once every 2 months. So you have to consider that average players, while they're not spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, all of those average players still add up and they're still making bank from these games. Unless people stop spending money on these titles, companies are going to continue to push the boundaries with them. Somebody said, warning, do not waste your time with this game. Other ones exist that actually respect your time and money. Diablo Immortal uses many, if not all, and more of the most blatant and egregious monetization practices to extract money from you. It's an embarrassment that this game left development the way it is currently monetized. Avoid at all costs. As you can see, people are not happy with Diablo Immortal, and I completely understand why. This does deserve to be the lowest Blizzard rated game to date. I hope that they come out and make some statements and say, hey, listen, we understand that people are very upset with the microtransactions. When the game goes out of open beta and it officially releases, we are going to rework the microtransactions, but I highly, highly doubt that they are going to do that. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.